Hey, what's going on, listeners? It's Sunday afternoon. It's the Collective Gamescast, episode 23, talking about handhelds or something like that. What did I title this episode, Chris?
Pro tables.
No, I did not name it Pro Tables. Typo.
Handheld mobile gaming, my friend.
Yeah, you see, because in the show for the YouTube and the Hangout, I did handheld gaming. But when I went to do the tweet, I wasn't finding a hashtag for handhelds, and I was like, oh, well, maybe portables. But no. But of course, I didn't find one because I was typing pro tables. You see? I should have just stuck to what was working, and I tried to get fancy, and I got burned.
There it is, man.
So, yeah, pro table gaming. That's today's topic. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So before we get into that, see what's been going on. How's your WoW addiction going, man?
That's going all right. We keep it on the weekends. You know, I didn't play much yesterday. I was out more. Went and played some disc golf. Try to get some that nice 60-degree weather in.
Okay.
Had some beers. Chilled with my friend and his girlfriend. You know, getting out more. But then I came home and played some more WoW. So I guess.
You earned it. That's like your cheat food or something, like.
Yeah, there you go. How's your PSO addiction?
It goes well. I have 2 characters over level 100 now. So it was pretty good week for hunts too, because I found a chainsaw on my huntress. So yeah. No hit, so it's not really all that useful, but it's just cool to get one, especially because I was out hunting for one and got it.
Oh, so that's perfect.
Yeah. So, you like when you're hunting something and you actually get the drop.
Yep.
Yeah, still pushing with my main. He's up to 137 now.
Oh, dang.
Didn't spend as much time with him this week because I was working on some of the alt stuff. And raising mags, man. Raising mags.
Oh, man.
I got my level 200 striker mag, but he's like mostly power. So I'm building one that's mostly mined now. And I'm working on another power mag. I got a rare mag sell. A lot of trades. I've been doing a lot of trading. I'm like creeping the trade forums all the time. Something about making deals, man. I like it.
It's rewarding. You go there, you see something, and someone actually responds. It's like it's a rewarding feeling. Like, yeah, people aren't all assholes on the internet. This is good. This is good.
Not all of them, anyway. Yeah. So.
Well, that sounds awesome, man.
Yeah, it's been fun. I can't complain. So. Yeah, I don't know. I also signed up for another server.
Oh.
Because I've been playing on the Ultima server.
Yeah.
But I decided I was checking out this Affinia server.
Okay.
And what makes their server so interesting is that they use Phantasy Star Online 2 style drops. So basically what that means is it's very Diablo 3 like, where everybody gets their own set of drops.
Oh,
so you can just pick up everything. Yeah,
everyone's not just picking things up. Okay. That's a lot better.
Yeah, I like it.
No ninjas.
Yes, no ninjas, but it sucks because it's like they don't really do a lot of the fun stuff Ultima does with like the extra XP and all. So
it's a real slow grind.
It's a really slow grind. Like I've gotten very used to that 3x XP.
Yeah.
So, but they got some neat stuff going on over there. So I spend some time over there. It's nice because over there it's just like play with whoever, meet people. Sure. Like most of my time on Ultima is spent trying to go solo as I hunt items now.
Yeah.
Although I did.
Which community's bigger?
Ultima's bigger.
Ultima's bigger.
At least from what I've seen so far. I could be wrong though.
Makes sense considering it's 3x or 3 times experience, and yeah.
It's also older. I'm pretty sure Affinia is newer.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Yeah, but it was cool too because now that I've built myself up on the Ultima server, I dropped in a game last night on one of my alts, and I was trying to just do a little leveling and some mag raising, and I jumped in a game, and there were a bunch of people there, and they were all like low level new players, and I was like, Santa Claus has arrived, and just started dropping stuff on them, and that was pretty fun.
Oh man.
Yeah, so it was nice. A month ago I was begging, and now I'm dropping gifts on people. So pretty cool, man.
Was it that long ago? Was it a month?
Yeah, 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah.
Doesn't even seem that way.
Yeah, it went fast.
Nope.
If it can get me through the rest of the winter, I'll be a happy guy.
Oh man.
Oh God. And then today there was some guy. I hate people who don't understand probability, man.
You mean the majority of the world doesn't understand probability?
Yeah, well, I guess that might be a fair analysis. No, so this guy is like losing his mind. He's like, I've killed 1,000 of this creature, and it's a 1 in 200 drop. He's like, you need to fix your drop tables. He's like, they lie, and he's like in the chat, like, constantly getting on the GM, like, to fix the drop tables. I'm trying to explain to this guy, I'm like, 1 in 200 is less than 0.5%. Like, like,
well, no,
well, actually 1 in 200 is 0.5%, but it's actually like 1 in 204 or something. So it is less than 0.5%.
But it's for everything you kill. So
right.
Each chance is a 1 in 200. Not if I kill 200, I can get 1.
Yeah, so I'm trying to like explain to this guy. I'm like, you will most likely never get it. Like less than 0.5% is not likely to ever happen.
Yep.
And he just wasn't getting it. He's like, no, I killed 1,000. I should have got 5. And I'm like,
yeah. See, he's thinking of the old.
Yeah.
1 in 10, then every 10 times it should happen once. Like, no, sir, that's not how that works. That means you have a 1 in 10 chance each time you try.
Yeah. Like, so, trying to explain to stupid people is not fun.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because as the chat was going on, somebody else came on and they're like, yo, guys, calm down. And one of the guys was like, I'm choking a baby, and I was like, well, that's not very calm. And then I wrote back to him. I was like, let me know if it drops. It's rare. So just to get under the other guy's skin a little bit. Yes, folks, the Malgadar likes to instigate.
Oh, I mean, if they're dumb, you got to do it.
Yeah, you can't argue with stupid, so you may as well antagonize them.
It starts getting violent. Well, if they don't realize that you're doing it, then it's just, it's funny.
Yeah. So those are some of my adventures in Phantasy Star.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got that. I had a couple of news items to get to, but I guess I'll ask you if you got anything else going on first.
No, not at the moment. Nope.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's these news items?
Here, let me pull some stuff up here. I want to make sure I got my windows open. Okay. Well, the first one, I know you already know about this. Fallout 4.
Ah, yes. Yes,
big DLC announcement this week.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think you were the one who mentioned to me when it came across, but
yeah, I mentioned it the day it came out, but I was at work, and the mobile site had me put in the date, and I was like, I don't feel like doing this. What's your birth date? I was like, oh, that's far too much work at the moment. And yeah, so I didn't get to check it out.
Don't bother me with this shit right now.
So I figured, or then the next day you came in and explained what you saw, which was good. Yeah, I think they finally figured out how to do that season pass correctly, you know?
Yeah, I think so. We'll get to that because you know how I am about the unknown season pass. So we got to definitely talk about that. Okay, so here's what we got. Fallout 4 DLC plans. The first DLC we'll be getting is called Automatron. Now, this is a $10 DLC, and it's supposed to come out next month. So, little March 2016 action here. So, let's see. It looks like a bunch of robots basically released into the Commonwealth, including the devious Robo-Brain. I don't know what that is. I feel like I should, though. I feel like I'm forgetting something of Fallout past. I don't know. Getting old sucks. So basically, hunt them down, harvest parts, and build your own robot companion. So you get to choose from limbs, armor, abilities, weapons. The new lightning chain gun. Sounds interesting.
Lightning chain gun.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but it sounds really cool.
That sounds awesome.
It also says here you can customize paint schemes and choose voices for your robots.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, the paint schemes I would have expected. The voices, that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll be curious to see just how deep that is.
I wonder if it's as as deep as XCOM 2 was. Like, they had every dialect you could possibly think of.
I don't think there's many things as deep as XCOM, period. Yeah, so pretty neat though. I don't know. What do you think of this for $10?
I think that's really cool. I thought it was just creating Automatron and whatever, but it seems they have it where it's an actual mission involved.
Yeah, I don't know if there. Yeah, I don't know if there's an actual mission or not. What it seems like is that it's just like, I don't know, the mysterious mechanist has unleashed a horde. Yeah, maybe there is a mission to that.
Yeah, it sounds like it might be one, which I'm all for $10. That's really nice.
Yeah, I'll take it. It's not.
Yeah.
I again, without actually having the DLC, it's hard to say, but it seems pretty decent.
Yeah, that's gonna be nice. Seems like they're doing one every month for the next 3 months.
Yes. Yeah, that does seem to be their plan. So let's see. Let's move on. So we got that. That's the $10 one.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now let's also keep in mind the season pass was $30, which will be important shortly. The second DLC, we have the Wasteland Workshop. Now, this is a $5 DLC, very cheap, and this is the April DLC release. Let's see. So, Wasteland Workshop, design and set cages to capture creatures, from raiders to death claws. Now, this is the one that I don't hear a lot of people talking about. Tame them or have them face off in battle. Now, that tame them part is what I want to know about.
Wait,
what does that mean?
Death claw as a pet?
That's what. See, this is the part nobody's talking about. Everybody's talking about the face off in battle thing. I want to know about this tame them. Like, does that mean like I can have like my pet Deathclaw Fluffy? Like,
well,
you know,
isn't there?
Can I take my Deathclaw as a companion or a Rad Scorpion, or like what exactly are the extents of this tame them?
There's a perk where you can tame things, right? If I remember correctly.
Oh, there is. I never took it though.
Yeah,
so
maybe you weren't able to do that on a Deathclaw. Probably because they can one-shot you. But
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. I just want to know, is it just like, oh, make a zoo, or is it like, yeah, like that, like that's your dog basically,
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So the face off in battle, that seems okay if you wanted to do some kind of pit fighting thing, but I don't know. The way the janky kind of way the monsters fight in this, I don't feel like that would be very thrilling. So there'd just be a lot of like, did that hit? Like they're just kind of bumping into each other a lot. Like I don't know if that's gonna work as well as people are thinking it will. We'll see.
Well, I mean, when you walk in, what is it, the Yellow Sea?
Oh, the glowing sea, yeah.
Glowing Sea, yeah. When you're walking through there, you always like, if you scope around, you'll see like 2 Death Claws battling it out, or a Rat Scorpion and a Death Claw battling it out. Like, I mean, it does look kind of janky, but it's still like, oh shit, who's gonna win? And at the same time, I'm like, I should probably leave this because one of them is gonna come after me.
Yeah, right. As soon as you see one of them start ragdolling, it's like, all right, time for run to get going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I don't know how deep it's going to be either for a $5 DLC.
Yeah, this one just seems like I don't know, kind of like how Sims always had like objects. Like, here's a DLC of objects. Do that. That's what this sounds like.
Well, here's the thing, because that's not all it's got. It says it's also got a new suite of design options for settlements, which includes Nixie tube lighting, letter kits, taxidermy, and more. So
taxidermy.
Yeah, the taxidermy's kind of neat, right? Like, I'd really love to have been able to do that with that Deathclaw I fought in that haunted house place. So taxidermy's kind of interesting because you could see some morbid dude's going to just like have dead stuff laying all over his settlement,
Yeah.
Like his wall of trophies. Go get Swan, drag it back, The lighting and letter kits I really like, though. That's actually my favorite part of this. Because
that's legit for there's nothing to really designate what anything is. And you put the lighting up, kind of gives it that nice aesthetic.
There's just going to be so many settlements now that just say, like, suck my balls right on the wall outside,
Yep. It's going to be a lot of pictures like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also what I want to see is, like, what are people going to do with this lighting beyond words? Like, are they going to, what devious ways are they going to find to make, concoctions and other things Bethesda won't like? Yeah. So I don't know. That's a $5 DLC pack. So I don't know how picky you can even be after it comes out.
Yeah, that's a lot for $5, it seems.
Yeah, and the new design options doesn't really mean a ton to me, but I just know there's people who live and die for the design stuff in this game, so they're gonna just probably be over the moon for it.
Mm-hmm. I would think so.
I could care less. I'm like, I don't have time for this. Like, kill stuff, level up, like, I mess with my settlement when, like, I don't know, when I'm really bored, I guess. I did it, got my trophy, and I was like, if I never do it again, I'll be happy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, so far, those are the 2 DLCs, $15. We should have them by April if they keep to their time schedule. I don't know. So that's half your season pass so far. So how you feeling about that?
That's legit.
Okay.
Yeah, I have nothing wrong with that. Granted, well, yeah, I mean, it was a $30 season pass, and you're already getting $15 worth of stuff, and it's only 2 months in, so I would assume it's just going to get better.
Okay. Well, I'd say if I bought the season pass at this point through the blog post, I'm disappointed. I'm like, what? Where are the missions? Where are the new maps? Where's the real stuff? But that's me. People who are more into the crafting and customization will obviously be a lot more happy about where that stands with those two.
Yeah. I think most people are just going to spend hours taming Deathclaws and having them battle different things.
Yeah. I guess if death claws were actually like hard, I might be more interested in taming them. But when I can kind of kill them at will, it's not really. I don't know. Like when death claws stop being scary, taming them doesn't really mean much.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the first two. But the blog post continues with the third piece of the DLC, Far Harbor. Now, this is a $25 DLC, and it is going to release in May of 2016. Supposedly. If any of them get pushed back, I could see it being this one. Okay, so this is a bit bigger one. A new case from Valentine's Detective Agency leads you on a search for a young woman in a secret colony of synths. Sounds pretty good, right? Wrapping in the Nick Valentine. Most people love Nick to death, so makes sense. Travel off the coast of Maine to the mysterious island of Far Harbor. Higher levels of radiation have created a more feral world. Navigate through the growing conflict between the synths, the children of Adam, and the local townspeople.
Well, that should be good.
Yeah, that sounds kind of interesting. Like, especially more radiation, the children of Adam having a bigger presence up there makes sense.
And there's actually normal people around.
Why the synths are there is already the thing I'm wondering. You know?
Probably to escape everyone in Boston, man.
Wouldn't you go further than there, though? Like, I don't know.
There's high radiation there. You've already settled. That's perfect.
Oh, okay. You know what? That's a good point. I wasn't thinking of it like that. I was just thinking of distance.
Yeah, they're just like, we don't have to go anywhere further because they're not going to venture in here. We're all good.
Makes sense. I like it. Yeah, so we bring peace to Far Harbor, and at what cost? Far Harbor is the largest landmass for an add-on that Bethesda's ever done.
Interesting.
New faction quests, new settlements, new lethal creatures and dungeons. Powerful new higher level armor and weapons. I don't know. This sounds like what I wanted. Like, give me some new place to explore because Boston got boring. Like,
did.
Give me some new creatures, dungeons. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for.
3 new factions, it sounds like.
Yeah. Now, this is the one that gets me excited because I'm like, all right, here we go. More gameplay. Give me something worth doing, you know? Yeah, well,
I agree, but I still think the other two being $15 already. I mean, it sounds like the first one has a little more gameplay, right? And then this one, I mean, with just the first two, it already sounds like you've covered half of the season pass, so you're okay. And then you add on this thing, and it's like definitely worth the $30. Yeah, I think this. I mean, when I think of DLC, I just think on add-on material, whether it's a whole new landmass or just a few objects. Or more than a few, just something to change the gameplay just a little bit. And I think those two were fine the way they were. But I don't know. I'd be disappointed if they didn't have this planned out and they said that was the only two for the season pass. Because then I would just assume that they're only going to make like these small little add-ons and just like nickel and dime you with some things that you probably don't care about, Like I'm trying to put this together.
Okay.
Well, the first two by themselves is okay considering the season pass was $30. But if they continued that path and was just like, we added more of this, we added more of that, and never focused on adding like Far Harbor, they didn't add on an extra landmass, I'd be upset. But the fact that they added it in there so you knew what the first 3 were planned in makes it all more worth the money. And you kind of see the path that they're going to take going forward. They're not just going to release like Skyrim had 3? 3 add-ons?
Yes. Yeah, right. It had the Hearthfire, the Dragonborn, and the Dawnguard, right?
Mm-hmm. And all 3 of those added They just added factions, new spells, added a new area.
Except for the house one, right?
True.
The Hearthfire one was just like, hey, you can make a house.
You have a house, adopt children.
Look, we like Minecraft too.
But that led to the settlement in Fallout 4, so you can't.
This is true. No, you're right. Definitely a building block there.
But yeah, I think this is good. I think what they're doing is good. It's definitely worth the money. But I figure you're gonna go on more about that soon.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I have to say this. So far, what they're talking about for the DLC, it works, and it's good because everybody gets something they want. You know, like the crafters and the settlement people are getting things for them. That's just not the way I play Fallout. You know. But I get that there's people out there who are crazy and nuts about it. And like Far Harbor probably doesn't do much for them.
Nope.
Right? Like unless there's new crafting materials and stuff up there, you know, new settlements maybe, but you know, and somewhere out there is a guy who's like, dude, I'm not done exploring Boston. Like I'm not ready to leave yet, you know? So that guy likes the stuff that just makes, you know, I keep saying Boston, it's the Commonwealth, but it's Boston.
It's Boston.
Yeah. Speaking of which, when we go to PAX in a few weeks, man,
yes,
I really need like an overlay to put on my Twitter posts because I want to like go to like places like Faneuil Hall, you know, and the old State House and like post pictures of them on Twitter with the overlay like you have discovered, you know. So, like, you know, if any of our awesome listeners wants to give me some insight on how I could do that, that'd be great.
Photoshop.
Because like where me and Mrs. Malgadar are staying is not far from Faneuil Hall and all that stuff. So I can walk right on over there, you know. Yeah. So, you know, scheming as always. Yeah. Anyway, back to the Fallout stuff. So anyway, you probably already seen the math conundrum here, right? You paid $30 for the season pass. And you've got $25, $35, $40 worth of DLC. So that would be it, right? You're good. That's typically the value of a season pass.
Yep.
Except, Chris, much like an infomercial, there's more. Yeah. So they
There's
plan
a couple things more, actually.
From the sound of it, yeah, it says more than $60 worth of Fallout DLC through 2016. So this is $45. So I don't know if they mean 60 more on top of this or 60 total. Because 60 total would be like one more companion, like one more automatron and one more Wasteland Workshop style DLC. And then they'd be out. Now, if they mean $60 more, now you're probably talking like one or two more landmass adventures, you know, and a suitable amount of other DLCs to even it out. So very vague there. Not sure where they're going. I'm guessing it's just going to be like maybe. Well, I'll put it to you this way, and then we can theorize some more. So Bethesda writes, given the expanded DLC plan, the price of the season pass will increase from the current $29.99 to $49.99 on March 1st, 2016. Okay, so that's, if you're listening to this by the time this goes live, probably tomorrow, you're talking about maybe a week still to get in at the old price. However, if you already purchased the season pass for $29.99, nothing changes. You still get everything at no additional cost. The full $60 offering of add-on content for the original price of $29.99. If you didn't buy the season pass yet, there's still time. Anyone who buys the season pass for $29.99 before March 1st will get all $60 worth of content. This is our way of saying thanks to all our loyal fans who have believed in us and supported us over the years. So, Bethesda went from doing the thing I hate the most with season passes to totally flipping me the other way. I just a big thank you to their fans. saving a whole bunch of confusion for all the people who did invest early in the season pass by basically saying, hey, if you bought it, you're good. Don't worry about it. Nothing changes for you.
You forgot the other cool thing.
They also say to everybody, hey, we're going to give you this came out on Tuesday. So they basically said we're giving you 2 weeks. You got 2 weeks, buy it at the cheap price, you get it all. So, I mean, they didn't say as of this posting, the price changes. They said, no, we'll give you 2 weeks, man. Get in at the old price. Buy in early. Thank you. So I feel like they pretty much got everything right.
You want to know what else?
What else? Did I miss something else?
Yeah, if you sign up for the beta to test.
Oh, I was going to get to that. I just wanted to talk about pricing first.
Yeah, I think this is the best part. Sign up for the beta and get accepted into the beta. You get all the DLC for free.
Yes. Well, actually, I don't know if that's how it's going to work. You might get selected for a beta and not all of them.
That is true.
You might get picked for Wasteland Workshop and maybe not for Far Harbor. I don't know the details. Also, and I haven't looked into this, but when I told my son about it, he was really quick to want to sign up for the beta, but he said it's PC only. So
we win again.
Yeah. So
they design it on PC and then port it over, don't they?
More or less, but there's no reason they couldn't do it both ways. They just probably don't feel like it.
That's probably it. It's
a
lot easier for PC development, considering most games start out PC and then get switched over.
Yeah, it would seem like it'd be. Although I can imagine you probably have to do a lot more testing on PC side because, the 1 billion and a half things that can go wrong on a PC versus the pretty straightforward architecture of the consoles.
Yep.
So, yeah, but so we'll see what happens with the beta. I don't know. It's a good. See, here's the thing, right? It's such a mixed message to me with the beta. We're just gonna get right into it. Because if you sign up for the beta, let's say you read this blog post, right? Here's the scenario I was cooking up in my head. You read the blog post and you're like, you're a guy like me, and you were like, shit, I didn't buy the season pass because they didn't tell me what was in it. Because you're smart and not an idiot that just throws your money at people. Like, here, have my money. Now you see this stuff and you're like, hey, this looks cool. I want the season pass, right? And you're like, oh, I got a couple days to still buy it at the original price. I'm coming up aces. So you go, you buy the season pass for $29.99. You're good. And then you enter the beta. And guess what? You get picked for the beta. Now it's like, well, damn, I already paid for it.
Paid money for it, yeah.
Yeah. Like the beta seems to be the best value to the guy who's like, nah, I'll buy it a la carte. Because then it's like, if you get picked, it's like, hey, free content. Like, there's definitely
how many people they want in the beta.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool getting out there in front of stuff, but I don't know. Is it that great? Probably not.
Not really.
I've done some betas. It's highly overrated.
Yeah, there's always a lot of bugs. There's always a lot of issues. Then you have to go and comment on things.
That doesn't really bother me. It just
becomes work.
It's just what I'm starting to find is that, one, I'm willing to wait for stuff, and two, it's more fun to be part of it when everybody's doing it. Like when you're in the beta and it's just like, oh yeah, me and this small group of people are doing it. Like, there's no conversation. Like, some of the fun is the conversation and the podcasts. Like, for me, like if there was a Fallout 4 beta, there wouldn't have been anybody out podcasting or talking about it. There would have been embargoes and stuff, that there wouldn't have been a lot of Twitter conversation because everybody would have been on NDAs. It's like that part of being like a part of something, and that doesn't exist when you're in the beta, like you're just playing the game.
This is true.
And I don't know. Like, part of what made Fallout 4 blast was me and you and people from the Gamescast community were all playing it at the same time, and like, you know, we were having episodes talking about it, and like, what did you do this week, and what did you do, and like, that's the cool part, because like, otherwise the game just gets damn repetitive. You know,
That's true. That's true.
So I don't know. Like, hey, if you're into the beta, go sign up, dude. Get in there quick. But you know, maybe you don't want to buy the season pass then. Like, if you think,
yeah, I think but then you would have to wait till you're accepted.
yeah. Well, because the beta stuff's going to roll out before the regular stuff. So if you're willing to pay a la carte, or if you're the kind of guy who's like me, who's like, I'm really just into Far Harbor, you know, and the other stuff's just throw-ins with the pass, you know, maybe just going for the beta and buying a la carte, you know, and if you're lucky, you get picked for the one you want, and then you don't have to pay for anything. It's a gamble.
It's an interesting one.
Personally, I'm just going to tell you what I did. I went and bought the season pass.
Yep.
I was like, you told me what's in it. Like, Far Harbor is going to be $25, and that's the one I want, you know? And I was like, so basically you're just asking for an extra $5 and I'll get this other stuff that maybe I'll like and maybe I won't. Like, that's a gamble I'm willing to take. You know, plus there's other content that I don't know what it is yet. Like, that's worth $5 to me. You know, it's one Starbucks drink I can sacrifice, you know. I mean, seriously. So, you know, to me, once they gave me some info and I knew what I was getting with my money, I was all on board, you know. And I wanted to get in at the cheaper price because a $50 season pass is a lot.
Yeah.
And since I don't know what the other things are,
they're just promising $60 worth of content. I don't think that's added on to what they're about to release. I think we're just getting probably another big one and another object.
Yeah, I think you might be right there based on a $60. Like, it looks, let's see, yeah, $60 of add-on content, right? And we already got 40, so that would only mean 20 more.
Yeah, bunch of $5 settlement packs.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be really interesting to see where this goes. Those numbers don't add up good.
No.
So maybe there's not going to be another landmass. I don't know.
Well, it could be one that's smaller than Far Harbor.
True. They could make a smaller one.
Yeah, they could add to some of the like empty areas in the Commonwealth. They could probably add some stuff to that. You know what I mean? I kind of wish they would open up a lot of the buildings that have the doors. Like, yo, just let me go and explore some shit in there, man. Maybe they got some, you know, materials that I need to go build some shit. Nah. Closed doors. Only a few of them are open in the cities, and unless they're missing a side.
Yeah. Other things they didn't mention anything about a level cap increase. So,
wasn't the level cap like ridiculous?
Oh, there was no level cap this time. That's why.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm thinking back to Fallout 3 because if I remember, they increased the level cap with DLCs, but I don't think there is one in this, right? Wasn't that the thing? Was that you could just keep going? I don't know. I got the 50 and was like beast moding through the game, so leveling up beyond that didn't really matter anyway. It was just numbers going up at that point.
I'm sorry.
What's up?
This dude in his post spelled he was trying to say legitimately, but he just spelled out legitly. And people are like not answering his question at all, just kind of like can you not spell legitimately? Like, is that not a thing you can do? It's like, damn, dude, calm down, man.
No,
this
man.
Poor guy. But no, there's no level cap. There's no hard level cap yet.
Yeah, okay.
It's like 65,000. Like, you can get to 65,000.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's a lot of game time.
Okay, so there were a couple other things. they just added at the bottom of this blog post I'm going to get to real quick. Beyond add-ons, more free updates to the game throughout the year. Weapon debris for PC. Increased draw distances for consoles. Something I never noticed, but I never really looked for it either. So
Okay.
I guess maybe there was like pop-in or something. I really don't remember it because I was usually looking down the sights of my gun, not off in the distance. Although I think I remember things being a little weird when you were up on the Brotherhood of Steel blimp.
Oh, okay.
Although you could jump. I did make the jump in power armor just for fun. So you could jump off it and back down to the ground. And that did work. I also jumped off with no power armor just for fun too.
How was that fun, man?
Well, because I wanted to see like how like far my body would bounce, but it really didn't.
It just collapses.
Yeah. It's funny to think if a giant hits you with a club into the ground, you fly to the stratosphere. But if you jump from a blimp to the ground, you just kind of hit like a bag of bricks.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's realistic.
I know. I would have rathered if I bounced. Then I would have turned it into a game to like see how high I could bounce and see if I could do anything to make myself bounce more.
Wow.
Anyway.
I just like to kill things.
This is the weird shit I like to do in games, man. Like I like to play with the physics. Yeah, complete overhaul of survival modes also come in. Optimizations to gameplay and quests. That's pretty obvious. They're also working on the creation kit for mods. They're currently testing survival mode and the creation kit. So yeah. So I don't know. That's where we're at with the Fallout 4 stuff, man.
Have you guys gotten mods on console yet?
I don't think so. I haven't even looked because honestly, I'm glad to be taking a break from it. Yeah. I threw a lot of time into that in a very short period, so it's been nice to get away from it. The DLC was kind of like hey, this will be a reason to get back in there, you know? So, yeah, we'll see what happens. And I'm not really worried about the mods because the mods are like, even when they become available, it takes time. Like if you look at like Elder Scrolls mod support now, like what's out there, it's awesome, you know, like for Skyrim. But it's like it wasn't like that day one. So it's like I'm not one of them dudes who's gonna be like, oh my god, mods are here. Fire up the system, call out of work. Like, no. Like it'll
I don't
be
think
there.
anybody does that.
Yes.
It starts off with like objects and then UI changes and then
I can guarantee you there's like quite a few hundred nerds who are like, I'm gonna make the best Fallout 4 mod ever.
Well, yeah,
I'm gonna make a dildo gun.
It starts off really slow, and it starts off with like objects and aesthetic and just general randomness, like the Buzz Lightyear power armor for what's his name?
Dance.
Yep. So then you have, have him in some Buzz Lightyear armor or something. But yeah, it starts off slow like that, and then you start getting into some additional changes, voices and all that stuff. And then you get the like full on quest stuff where people like add on new areas and stuff. But that takes like a year or two for that to happen. That's pretty much developing a whole new thing. Yeah, I mean, it's more aesthetic right around now. I haven't checked them out for PC, but
yeah, I don't know. I'll be keeping an eye on it.
Should be very, very weak selection for now.
Yeah. So anyway, that's Fallout 4. All in all, I gotta say I'm pretty impressed. Now we just gotta hope they actually hit on these things.
Yeah, I think they're doing it right. Hopefully they'll continue that and not be like, just kidding, guys. There's only going to be $5 add-on packs. Just awful settlement.
That would be the worst.
Oh man, I would love to hear your rant on that one.
I'd lose my shit, man.
Yep. Even though you already got the $30 worth.
Yeah. Yeah, just dude. that would just be so wrong. Such a terrible way to just treat your customers. So
Yep.
I don't think that's going to happen, though. So I don't think we got to worry about that. Yeah. Okay, so enough Fallout 4. This isn't a Fallout 4 podcast, although a lot of times it is.
The whole month of November it was.
Yeah, oh man, it really was, man. For like a good 4 episodes there, I think we were really deep into it.
This is our Halloween episode. No, I guess that was too soon.
Yeah. Too soon, man. Too soon.
Too soon.
Okay, so the second thing I wanted to talk about today that I thought was very, very newsworthy to me was something you brought my attention to again. You keep beating me to the punch on these stories, man. That somebody out there is remaking Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh yeah, on the Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, what is it? I think they called themselves Ape Iron or Aperion or something like that.
Something weird like that.
I can't stop seeing the 2 separate words. Like I see ape and I see iron, and I just want to call them Ape Iron. Like,
I think we should do that. That sounds good. Until someone comes out and says what it's actually called. They're Ape Iron.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that is what it is, or if that's just a strange way that the spelling worked. But yeah. But part of this Ape Iron group is Poem Studios, who I have no familiarity with. So, you know who Poem Studios is?
No.
Me either. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so basically they want to reboot KOTOR. They want to add content, worlds, missions, redo the HUD and the inventory and the items. They want to make it prettier, obviously. So
and it is.
Yes, the early screenshots are rather impressive.
Mm-hmm.
This is just one of my favorite games, so the thought of somebody redoing it makes me so happy.
Also,
especially
person mode
doesn't really do anything for me, but sure, whatever. Like, I don't know. Especially with the way that combat system is, I would not want to play that game in first person.
That is true. That is true. It's better off.
Now, if they're redoing the battle system, although that would be big,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah. What's really interesting is they're just kind of like doing a modification to it or something, because you have to own the original game, to play it. It's not going to be like a digital distribution thing.
Oh, so you have to pay for. I mean, if you own the game, you just add a add-on to it.
I guess so, yeah, because it says to play, you're going to need the original copy. So it sounds like it's almost like a high-class mod over a full rebuild, but based on the fact they're using a new engine and everything, it's like, I don't know, it exists in some strange state in between the two, I think. But I guess this is what makes it legal.
Well, it's like Black Mesa was for Half-Life.
Yeah, they mentioned that on their website, too.
Yeah, because they just kind of made Half-Life a little bit better. And they added some other stuff to it. Which now it's its own standalone game. But beforehand, it was just a mod.
Yeah, I like what they're doing, and I like that they're not taking donations. I mean, they kind of said, hey, we want to have a fully functional kind of thing here before we start taking people's money.
That's a good call.
Yeah, taking responsibility, never a bad thing. Oh man. Yeah, so I am very excited about this. It looks very Mass Effect like with some of its lighting and such.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh yeah, it does. It does have that Mass Effect feel.
Yeah, it's got a lot of that, like some of that like lens flare and the shininess. It's got a lot of that going for it. Yes, we'll see what happens there. I'm going to be keeping my eye on that every so often, though. That's a project I am very much behind.
It should be damn good.
Yeah, I hope they can. I hope they can flush the world out too, because that was a very barren game. You know, that was still like BioWare pre-EA when they were still kind of like, you know, proving themselves. You
Yeah.
know, even though they had already done so many great games. You know, so.
Man. Yeah, it's going to be nice. I'm really interested to see how the gameplay is going to roll out. Because, I mean, they don't have to change voice acting or anything. It's already there. They've got all that files. They're just really changing the way it looks and feels.
That's what it would seem like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, I say we got a couple years.
Yes, that's probably going to be a very long in development project.
Mm-hmm. Especially since it's a fan-made thing. I doubt they have that many people in the project. Curious, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they could have more, but it would seem unlikely.
Oh, I wonder if they can't take donations. Oh, no, I guess they could. I wonder how that affects the Unreal license. Because I know Unreal doesn't take anything until you start distributing the game. So I don't know if it's like if you're taking donations, they're not going to be like, hey, let me get my percentage of that 25 cents someone donated.
Yeah, I don't know. Donations have always kind of been that weird way to get money for things you can't get money for, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe they can do that. I don't know. Either way, that's all stuff for further down the line.
Yeah,
the fact that like EA and BioWare aren't like banging down the doors like, hey, knock it off. That's a good sign.
Yeah, I'm surprised EA hasn't said anything. That's like it's like anti-everything, you know?
I think one of the issues is that they basically said we're not getting into the HD remaster game.
Okay.
It's kind of like, well, if you're not going to do it, then they're just kind of modding it, and they're forcing people to have a copy of the original. Like, you know,
this is true.
Yeah, it's not really hurting their bottom line in any way. Then at this point, now if at some time in the future they're kind of like, hey, yeah, we got to get on this HD remastering business, you could see this getting shut down.
I see either it's shut down or them paying for them to continue the project.
Another possibility.
Mm-hmm. So I think it'd be dumb to stop them as they're like, because knowing EA, they'll probably do it when they're like 3/4 of the way done. They're like, nope, can't do it anymore. But
that is what happens to a lot of these projects, though, is they get shut down in like the last 10% of the project.
Yep.
So that actually wouldn't be so surprising.
But hopefully they can make a deal so then it doesn't get shut down and just gets, backing from EA and BioWare. You know what I mean? It's like they acquire a company if they're a company yet.
Yeah, I don't know quite what their organizational structure is there. So, yeah, either way, it's really interesting. It's one of my favorite games, and it is the game I most want it remade. So the fact that somebody's doing it gets me pretty hyped.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When we did the HD remaster, what was the game you most wanted redone?
Oh man, I can't remember.
He can't remember his own mind, folks.
No, I had a few of them, and I can't remember what they were.
Yeah. Anyway, we can move on. There was one more thing I wanted to bring up, and then we'll talk a little bit of handhelds. So there was a game I was talking to you about the other day. You remember this? It's called Screen Cheat.
Screen Cheat. Oh yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, it's a first-person shooter, and but it uses the classic mechanic from like if you remember when we used to have, before online multiplayer was super popular, we had to play games in split screen.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the key things you would do is look over at your opponent's screen, and you would kind of figure out where they were on the map by looking at their box on the screen. Well, this game actually took that and took it to the next level and basically made it so that it's designed around the idea that everybody's invisible. So the only way to know where somebody is in the game is to look at their screen and figure out where they are on their map and then shoot at that position on yours because you can't see them. Rather brilliant. And it's actually on Steam, which I don't know how people are playing it on a computer. It is multiplayer though, and it says it's cross-platform multiplayer. So, but yeah, it's been out since October of 2014.
It's already.
I don't know if that was a one of those early access dates or what, but I just found out about this game this week, and it just sounds brilliant. And there's a bunch of stuff for it on the Steam page. Yeah.
Oh, what, Screen Cheat?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Apparently, it's been out for a long time.
Yeah, it is coming to PlayStation 4 apparently. So.
Oh, maybe that was.
I'll be looking forward to it there because I already have the console and the controllers, so ready to go. And it looks like you could play like 6 and 8 player multiplayer games. So. It looks like it can get pretty big. The 8-player one, I just keep thinking of the Brady Bunch, which shows my age.
All your base R explode.
Yeah,
These oh my gosh, yeah, there's a 8 players. Jeez.
Yeah. Wild. But anyway, yeah, so like if you're an old school gamer and you remember playing like GoldenEye and Perfect Dark and using the screen cheat method to, figure out where people were, this game might kind of take that to the next level and give you a little bit of nostalgia all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just wanted to bring that one up. It looked really cool.
I like it. I like that whole idea. They took something that everyone yelled at each other about and turned it into an actual party game. Which is nice. Like, fuck you, man. You were looking at my screen the whole time. No, I wasn't, man. I just know the game. Nah. Every argument, every time. Or you just had my friend who would just laugh. As soon as he killed you and he knew you were about to freak out, he'd just start laughing. Like, sorry, you shouldn't just stand still. Like, I knew exactly where you were, man. That's what it's like.
And if you remember, I'm pretty sure his Perfect Dark had the thing where if you duck down and then hit the one button, your screen would go black so you could kind of hide.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Perfect Dark that had that. And that was a really genius thing. It was like, people are looking for you. So now it gave you this option to, you couldn't really do anything while your screen was black, but you could hide where you were.
Yep.
So if you knew somebody was trying to...
else's...
Yeah, if you knew at that moment somebody was trying to figure out your location,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. Definitely something worth checking out. I'll be waiting for it to come on the PS4, and then I'll definitely be looking into it. All right, so we've already been going for like an hour here. We should get into the topic.
Yeah.
So handheld game consoles. Have you been a big handheld gamer, Chris?
When I was younger, I was.
Okay.
I would say around the Game Boy SP is when I kind of stopped even thinking about handheld gaming.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
And it was really only for like specific games. Like I'd never played that many games on there. I remember I had the Game Gear. Played a little bit of Sonic, obviously. And then I had the Game Boy Advance, so, Tetris and obvious Pokemon. And then I think when I got the Advance and the SP, it was mainly just Pokemon or Super Mario World or I think those were mainly it. Oh, F-Zero was one that I played a lot. Yeah, I didn't play that many games on handheld. Just usually when I wanted to play a game, it was never when I was on the go. It was only when I was sitting at home.
Mm.
You know, very
Okay.
good toilet entertainment, but yeah, that's pretty much the only time I usually play it. I never played it like on the go.
Okay. Um, well, I was not a big handheld gamer when I was younger because I could barely scheme my way into getting consoles, and the handheld games really didn't have much out there that I wanted.
Yeah,
Aside from Metroid 2 Return of Samus, there wasn't really a ton out there I was begging for.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I got more into handheld gaming as I got older, and the technology started to get better and the games got better, you know.
yeah.
Uh, and then I kind of fell out of it mainly because I don't have much time to game, and I prefer to kind of play something on a console most of the time.
Mm.
So,
I
but
mean, that's how I feel, and the only time, like I said, the only time I would ever do it is if I was like, if I knew I was going to be in the bathroom a long time, I'd take the phone or take Pokemon or whatever, and just play a little, play a little bit while I was there, and then public transit. Sometimes I'll pull something out and play a little bit, but I always felt like I'd get too into the game and not want to stop, or I'd miss my bus stop or the train stop or whatever. Like yesterday, going into Center City, I played Catan on my phone.
oh yeah, I remember you were saying something
Yeah,
about that.
like
Yeah.
that's like the extent of the gaming that I do. Like I do Hearthstone sometimes, but that was like, let me play Catan. I was just cursing up a storm on the train. That was probably people probably thought I was crazy, but people were cheating, man. Kept fucking me over.
Oh
Knocking out
man,
all my sheep. Need my sheep.
you need
Yeah.
wood for your sheep. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Anyway, yeah.
it was never
So
something that like, yeah, let me pull out my PSP and start playing something. I don't even know. I can't remember games that were back then. Vita's obviously the better system here, but eh, eh, it's not for me. Actually, I take that back. Now, when I'm hearing about the releases of all like PS1 and some PS2 games on the Vita, I'm like, this is sounding a lot better to me. Like this is right up my alley. But if I'm going to spend hundreds of dollars on something, I think it's just going to be a console.
fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, well, here let's work through. And the only ones I'm really interested in talking about are the ones from the million selling handheld game consoles. Because if you don't sell a million consoles, you're kind of irrelevant, to be honest.
Very true.
And actually, when I go over this list with you, some of the ones that have sold over a million are kind of irrelevant. There's a couple on here. I don't even know if you could guess at them.
Okay.
So you want to take a stab at some of the million selling game consoles for handhelds?
Game Boy Color.
Game Boy Color is the second best selling all
Mm.
time. 118 plus million units.
Damn, for real?
Yeah.
Holy
Because you got to remember,
that's
it
worldwide,
encompasses Game Boy and Game Boy Color. Yeah.
Oh, okay, because they were the same generation.
Yeah, they were the same thing, just, one
Yeah.
was color. That's pretty much it.
All right. Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite ones when it came out.
That also had a long lifespan, too.
Mm-hmm.
From the Game Boy 1989. Game Boy Color wasn't released until 98.
Let's see oh wow,
Yeah,
people were
that's
playing
it.
on that big clunky thing for that long.
Yeah, well, Game Boy Advance was not released until 2001.
Yeah, I remember that.
So you're talking about 12 years.
Jeez. And then they kind of they kept it going because I know. Well, I don't know because the Advance and then the SP was like 2004, right? Or the year before.
The SP, I feel like the Game Boy Advance SP was 2003.
Yep. Okay, no, that makes sense.
Yeah,
And
that
then, I guess it was quite a while before the next thing came out, the DS.
actually
couple years for that.
no.
Really?
Actually, the Game Boy Advance had a. Here, let's go back over the story a little bit. So Nintendo finally releases a successor to the Game Boy, right?
Yep.
Now, it's the Game Boy Advance. It comes out not long after they come out with the SP with the clamshell.
Mm-hmm.
Then they released the Nintendo DS. Now, this is when Nintendo was talking about this is going to be the three pillars of Nintendo. This was their big thing, and it was going to be it's the GameCube, the Game Boy Advance, and the DS, because the DS was so different and wild. I think they really thought it might flop. So they didn't want to say it was the successor to the Game Boy Advance. They wanted to act like it was this other thing. Here, the DS was huge and people loved it. So then it was like, oh yeah, fuck that Game Boy Advance. That was just a holdover. Yeah, we never really believed in that.
Yeah.
You know, so they conveniently changed their story to suit their business needs, you know.
So the SP was kind of just like the middle child between the two. Like,
yeah, but the SP
combination of the two ideas.
Yeah, but the SP did a couple key things. One, it introduced the clamshell design that Nintendo still uses to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Two, it had a backlight, which was huge because the Game Boy Advance did not have a backlight.
That's right.
I used to have to sit right under a lamp to play it in my house. It was terrible.
We used the book reader. You know those clip-on book readers?
Yeah.
I think eventually they came out with one for the Advance that Nintendo had that you could just...
Yes, they did.
Yep.
And three, rechargeable battery.
It did have the rechargeable battery.
Yeah, the Game Boy Advance did not. It used AA's. So, yeah. So the SP had a lot of good technical features to it that made a difference.
I like the feel of it too. It felt right.
It was so like much more like well sized. It fit in your pocket really nice.
Oh, that was the best part.
Yeah. Yeah, and the clamshell protected your screens, which was nice. Or well, screen at that point. Now it protects multiple screens, but you know, yeah. So the SP is not to be overlooked. Definitely an important step for Nintendo.
It's definitely my favorite.
Yeah. So the Game Boy Advance was 2001, and that is the fourth best selling handheld, 81 plus million units.
Damn.
Yeah. Now the DS, which we also mentioned, that was 04, so only 3 years later. So Game Boy Color gets 12 years. Game Boy Advance gets 3. But the DS was a runaway, though. Best-selling handheld of all time. 154 million units.
The original DS was the best-selling handheld.
Yeah, and it's very close to being the best-selling console of all time. PlayStation 2 has a very small margin over it at this point. It's like 1 million units.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah, so we got 1, 2, and 4 so far.
So we're missing 3?
We're missing quite a bunch still. That's only, yeah.
I'm going to go, let's see, third best selling. Let me think about that one for a minute.
Oh, okay.
3DS.
No.
Really?
3DS is the fifth best selling.
Wow.
Yeah. Just under 58 million units.
Okay.
Yeah. So the 3DS has struggled to capture the magic that the DS had.
I wonder why.
Well, one, the DS library is strong. The 3DS library is getting better. But I think the extra cost of the 3D, too, made the system more expensive.
Okay.
And I don't think a lot of people saw... See, this is where Nintendo is such a terrible company. They do not understand how to market anything. Like, they had the DS, then they released the 3DS. Tons of people probably think it's the exact same thing and just adds 3D.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. They have the Wii, and they make the Wii U, and people just think it's an add-on for the Wii. Like, because they're so terrified to use a new name once they have something successful, they actually end up cannibalizing the future product because they won't give it its own name and its own brand.
Yep. They want to keep
Yeah.
using the same thing because that's what
Yeah.
sold. They think the name is what sold. And it's like, no, that's just what they recognize.
Well, the name should be Nintendo, but Nintendo's done such a good job of ruining their own name. You know.
Well, it worked for, you got Nintendo, Super Nintendo, right? That worked. You have Game Boy, Game Boy Color, that worked. Game Boy Pocket, that worked. Advance, that works. You would think they could continue it with the DS.
Yeah, but DS worked, right?
Yep.
But then they go 3DS and confuse the market. If they would have just called it anything else, it probably would do a lot better. I mean, it's 100 million system difference there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The 3DS was bigger too, though, right?
Now, the other thing, too, is definitely the mobile market is probably cut into that because the DS was 2004. So we're talking pre-smartphone era.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe some Blackberries, but there's no real marketplace like there is today.
Still playing Snake on Nokia's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and now you're talking 3DS launches in 2011, well into the smartphone era now.
Yep.
By 2011, pretty much everybody I knew had a smartphone, including my mom. So, I mean, that kind of tells you where you're at that point.
Yeah. Mobile market probably killed the sales for that. But then, like, coming afterwards, was there? So what do we have? We have the DS, and then they had that DS Lite, which was the small version, right?
Yeah, the redos on them. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you had the 3DS. What came after that? Is 3DS is the end, right?
Well, no, because the 2DS and which is basically the 3DS hardware without the 3D.
They actually have that?
Yeah, it's a cheaper model and it's flat. It's not a clamshell. But yeah.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Oh. That sounds horrible.
There's the 3DS XL.
I remember the XL
came out.
Yeah.
And now they have the new Nintendo 3DS, which is some kind of half step because it's basically a 3DS, but it has better hardware. So there's certain games that can only run on the new 3DS. It's like these are the kind of stupid decisions that are destroying Nintendo. Like, what the hell are they trying to do?
Listen, personally, I think going from DS to 3DS that's a legit change because it made sense. It's the DS with some 3D extras added to it, maybe a little better hardware so they can handle the 3D part. But then when you call something which is like your sequel to your old one just the new 3DS, you've goddamn failed. Like you just completely failed with the naming.
Well, here's part of the problem, right? Do you know how hard it is now to search for a new 3DS that's not the new Nintendo 3DS? It's really hard now. Really hard.
Oh, man. Well, first off, you wouldn't call it... I feel like when you're searching for it, you're only searching for Nintendo 3DS, right?
Yeah.
I'm confused, man. I'm torn by this because it's ridiculous. I don't think you're going to get confused.
I'm good for you here, Chris.
Oh, they still have a new 3DS XL too, huh?
So here you go. You see this? That's the 3DS versus the new Nintendo 3DS.
They're the exact same with the color buttons. Wait, hold on a second. Is the new 3DS the one on the right?
The new 3DS is the one on the right, yes.
So they moved the start buttons over.
Yeah, they changed some of that around. You see that little... Now look above the X button. See that little gray nub?
Yeah, what the hell is that?
That's your second analog stick.
They IBM the thing?
Yeah.
What? That's really ridiculous.
It really is. It's horrible.
Oh, man.
Like, it's such a half step, and just like we don't have the balls to make a real decision, but we want to release new hardware, so you buy it.
And it doesn't look that different on graphically. It looks the exact same thing, like the same resolution.
Yeah, I think it pretty much is. There's a bit of a faster processor in the new Nintendo 3DS. So,
Oh boy.
yeah, it's just this is why Nintendo's going to be gone soon because they just can't get anything right.
Oh my gosh. The little nub, man.
It's such a terrible half step. I can't stand it. I
I've
mean,
always
it's good that they made some kind of move, but the fact that that's the one they thought was the right one is just scary.
Oh boy. You can't ah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't that's oh god, I couldn't even think of playing with that thing. That nub
Yeah,
really bothers me.
yeah. So anyway, that's where the new Nintendo 3DS is, and not surprisingly, it seems to be doing terrible because nobody knows what it is. Nobody knows if it's a new system or just the DS Lite of this generation. You know, like as usual, Nintendo found a way to screw it up.
Yep.
So okay, so we,
Oh, man.
we knocked out a lot of stuff on the list. Let's start moving through the rest of this handhelds list because I just want to get through some of these.
Game Gear.
Game Gear, yes.
There we go.
Game Gear, number 6, the only Sega entry, released in 1990, over 10 million units sold.
Only 10 million, huh?
Well,
I guess 'cause
the
Nintendo-
numbers, if you look at the older stuff, it's harder to get the numbers.
Okay.
And Sega stuff didn't really sell super well either. So,
This is also very true.
like here, Wikipedia's estimates have total console sales, home and handheld, for Sega at a little over 76 million. So 10 of that was Game Gear. So that kind of shows you what kind of numbers they were pushing. Like not good.
Oh man. I like the Game Gear though.
Well, the Game Gear gave us Shining Force Gaiden and Shining Force Gaiden 2, so I'll give it some love just for that reason.
Just to let you know, they had a TV tuner for this thing.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of it now. That's hilarious. Like, yeah, you know, I just want to watch TV on my Game Gear.
Yeah, because who wouldn't?
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's number 6. Number 3 seems to be the one you haven't been able to figure out, though.
Yeah, I can't figure that one out.
You're going to face palm as soon as I say this. PlayStation Portable.
The PSP?
82 million units sold.
Oh, I didn't think it sold that much.
Yes, because everybody used it as an emulator.
Ah, that is true.
Now, in its own right, it had a lot of good games on it, but I used it 80% of my time when it was probably as an emulator, so I can't lie. You know.
Oh man. Yeah, I remember a lot of people had it, and then they found a way to fix that. And I think it was just like an update. And if you were stupid enough to update after you set it up to run emulators, it was all right.
You know what else too? I used it as an MP3 player a lot because I didn't have to carry an MP3 player with me if I had my music on there already, and it's like I was bringing it with me anyway. So, yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, we got PlayStation Portable 3. Oh, number 7 on the list is my personal obsession, PlayStation Vita.
Okay.
Yeah, just over 4 million units sold.
That makes sense.
Very sad, but it should be doing a lot better. But this machine's a goddamn beast, Chris. I haven't touched it in like 2 or 3 weeks since I started playing Phantasy Star. I pick it up the other day. It's got half a battery. It's been in sleep mode running Final Fantasy X. Like,
oh wow,
the battery life on this thing is ridiculous. You know. So
yeah, I remember when the Vita was coming out. I do remember that. I think I was working at Target at the time. I think
there was a lot of groundswell for Vita before it came out.
Yeah, and a lot of people were looking to get it. And I can't remember. I can't remember what was the cause of people not buying it. It was such an amazing piece of hardware.
Well, one was the proprietary memory that was way overpriced.
I remember people complaining about that.
And two was, I think people were really waiting for homebrew on it, and it wasn't going to happen.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Like, Sony figured out how to lock it down this time, so.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
When did it come out?
Vita 2011.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So we talk about the Nintendo 3DS as a failure with its 57 million units, and the Vita came out the same year and has like 4.
4 million.
Yeah. So Sony really killed it with the memory, but the no emulation hurt too. It's funny though, because it's such a better piece of hardware than the 3DS.
It does everything you need, man.
Well, actually, what that I think is another thing that killed it. They kind of went the Xbox One route of like, this thing does everything. It's like GPS and cameras, and
it's got that weird touchpad in the back.
Yeah, and it's just like, what's really good about it is that it's a really nice screen, a really like quick system, and it has dual analog sticks, not a fucking nub. Not some like, analog stick that was like growing up and then like got sick and never finished growing. Like,
just the midget nub.
Yeah, like this is a real thing, So I hope Sony doesn't bail on the handheld market, but it seems like it might.
I mean, at least the Vita's around. That's a pretty damn good, system.
Yeah. Okay, and the last 3, I don't know if you would guess any of these, so we're just going to blast through them real quick here. The Wonder Swan, released in 99.
What is that?
Yeah, that was kind of an obscure system. The Wonder Swan and the Wonder Swan Color.
I'm sorry. Whoa. This thing has... Why does it have 2 directional pads?
I don't actually know, to tell you the truth, Chris. The only thing I remember about this system is that I almost wanted to get one just because it had Final Fantasy 1 remastered on it.
Oh, okay. I mean, I get that. It had 2 also.
Oh, did it have 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 fucking sucks, so who cares? But back then, that would have actually been a really big deal because 2, I don't think, had been released here at that time.
Who made this game?
Bandai was the manufacturer.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
This was not... The thing looks like something you buy a kid, like those Leapfrog games.
Yes, it's not very far from like a Tiger Electronics handheld.
Yeah. With 2 directional pads. 4, I have no clue.
Yes,
maybe it's multiplayer.
That's sold somewhere in the neighborhood of 3.5 million units. The second to last one of this list, we talked about this before, and you were kind of shocked to hear about it. The Nokia N-Gage.
I remember the N-Gage, yeah. I like the N-Gage.
Yeah, boy, that was supposed to be the thing that was going to take over.
Yeah.
Yeah, geez, they discontinued it after only 2 years.
The weird thing about the N-Gage was that it was a phone.
Yeah, well, that's what it was supposed to be. It's going to do everything,
Yeah, but
in the end, it seems like it really did nothing.
Yeah, can you picture talking on that thing?
No, that thing was obtuse, to say the least.
Oh man, it was all buttons and no screen.
Yeah.
But I like the idea. I really did enjoy that idea. The N-Gage. Was a T-Mobile Sidekick the next one?
Yeah, I think that was almost like the piggyback off of idea, yeah.
Yep.
And the last one on our list, the N-Gage sold about 3 million units. The last one on the list, I cannot believe this sold over 1 million units, but the Atari Lynx.
The Lynx, really?
Yeah.
Huh. That weird piece of thing.
And this one was available, geez, for 6 years.
And only sold how much?
1 million units.
Oh my god.
Wow. Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. I had no chance of ever getting a Lynx, so I really never even went back to find out about it.
How much was it then?
It said $179.99 retail.
Oh wow, that's kind of a lot for back then.
89. Let's
Yeah.
see.
It's a console.
The Game Boy.
I think it's huge.
Introductory price for the Game Boy was $89.99.
Oh, so pretty much the Lynx was the
And
entire console.
They came out the same year too, so
I get it now.
yeah.
The thing was, it was a console in your hand. That's what it was.
Oh, those are always bad. The Sega Nomad, which doesn't even appear here, had a horrible history.
Oh man. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's the battery pack one.
Yeah, that's the one that has like a 1 hour lifetime.
Mm-hmm. Man. Didn't it take the Nomad actually took full cartridges, right? It took the actual Genesis cartridge.
Yes, yeah. So the idea was sound. It was just the execution was poor. Yeah. Golden Axe on the go. That might have been some fun shit. I don't know. Nobody would know because it would die before you could get any. Batteries are dead. Yeah.
That's funny.
So that's where we're at with the handheld consoles, the ones that have done well. Any of them in particular mean anything to you?
I don't know, man. I've always been partial to Nintendo's handheld system, but I've always wanted a Vita, like specifically so I can play some of the old school games. But I never actually just went and bought one. But the Game Gear was always my when I was a kid, that was one of the first ones I got. And then as I got older, it was when I was able to get other stuff. So then I got the SP. And I was like, this is probably the best handheld system I've ever played with. It just seemed so bright.
Okay.
But I think if I ever decide I'm going to get a handheld game, I'm going on, I don't know, an international flight somewhere, and I'm like, you know what, I could use some Final Fantasy for these 14 hours. Then I'll probably get a Vita.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that'll be the next thing. Unless I just download an emulator on my tablet, and then.
True. There is something nice. I got to say this because you could play things like FF7 and 8 on your cell phone now, but there's something beautiful about playing them with buttons and sticks that just you can't replicate with goddamn mobile touchscreens.
That's the problem I have with a lot of the games. I want that physical button.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. Yeah, so
I still haven't seen the Final
thought,
Fantasy VIII on Android. I don't think it's out yet. I know 9 is. I don't think 8 is.
There's ways to get it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 7 and 8 aren't there yet, but 9 is.
Okay.
Well, I don't know why they switched it like that, but all right. Thanks, Square. Just go out of order.
Yeah, I don't know. There must have been some issue with porting it, maybe, or maybe they went by sales figures. They're doing the ones that sold better first.
Did 9 sell better?
Possible. A lot of people who have poor taste like 9 more than 8.
We'll see. I was going to argue with you, but no, that's definitely what that is.
Yeah. I don't know.
I like 9. 9 was just an odd game.
Yeah, it's just got a really weird art style and
weird characters in general.
Yeah, Vivi's the man.
Yep. Best story too.
Yeah, Vivi can roll with me any day, but other than that, it's kind of a weird game that we learning skills through your equipment is ridiculous.
I kind of enjoyed that.
I hate it because you get stuck with gear you don't want to use until you learn stuff. It drives me nuts. It's like I don't want this crappy item anymore. Like,
Yeah, I get that. Oh, and then you had what's her name? The Hishi, the big tongue
oh
clown.
yeah,
Who
that
you have to
weird
catch
bastard.
frogs so she can eat it, or he, whatever it is.
No, I know it.
That was a pain in the ass too. Like you had to go get the frogs, and then once you ate enough frogs, it earned an ability. I was like, that was ridiculous. I never used them. And then you had characters that didn't belong in there, like the what's the guy's name with the big red hair?
Oh, Amaranth.
Amaran, yeah. He
It was kind of neat, but I was like, how do you fight with all that hair in your face, bro? Like,
he's all hair, no head, man.
and like, isn't that the point? The dreadlocks is like they kind of keep the hair out of your face. Like, I know when I wore dreadlocks, that's why I did it.
Okay, I think we have a new topic here. Why the hell do you have dreadlocks?
I don't know, because I was weird.
Whew. I would need some photo evidence of that, man.
Oh yeah, my high school yearbook will prove it. Because
Oh, dude, that's hilarious, man. Oh my
yeah,
god. Some bad mistakes, people make some bad mistakes.
Yeah, man. Hey, you gotta do it while you're young. They don't let you do it when you're older.
Did you have like the Morpheus style sunglasses?
Yeah, the leather jacket, the whole 9 yards.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. You thought you were in the Matrix.
I don't know what I thought I was in.
Oh, that's good stuff, man. That is good stuff.
Yeah, so anyway. Yeah. So for me, man, yeah, the handhelds, I don't know. The Game Boy was really, I got into Game Boy like in 2000, like the year before the Game Boy Advance came out. So
okay.
Yeah, at that point, I'm trying to think. At that point, the Game Boy Advance was imminent. I only got it because I wanted to play those the Legend of Zelda games, Oracle Ages and Oracle Seasons.
I never played those.
Yeah, they were actually pretty good. I enjoyed those. The problem I ran into was that I tried to play Pokemon after that, and I was like, this is really boring.
Oh, so you gotta play with friends, dog.
Yeah, well, I didn't have any friends who were really hardcore gamers, nor the kind who would pay money for handheld consoles.
I guess back then, yeah.
Yeah, so so Pokemon kind of was when I stopped really playing Game Boy. I got into the Game Boy Advance, really loved it when I got the SP. That system was fun, man. The Castlevania games on the Game Boy Advance were just, oh man, yeah. Especially some Aria of Sorrow, yeah, that makes me happy. Just kind of a weird way to put it, but yeah, it's the truth. That game is, yeah, game boss. So yeah, so Game Boy Advance kind of liked it, but it was such a short window, man. It was here and it was gone.
Yeah, that was a really quick turnaround. Like they just went straight into the DS and then tried to play it off. It's interesting.
Yeah, the other DS is not so strong on them. I got games that I like.
Here's something I don't know. Was the 3DS that was stereoscopic 3D, correct?
I believe.
Or was
so.
was it the character models?
I'm not sure. I know the new 3DS uses a different kind of 3D technology, though.
Okay.
Yeah, that's supposed to work better. It's supposed to. I think you're supposed to be able to pick the 3D, maybe. Like if it's the pop out or the fade in.
Ah, no, you're right. There's a switch on there.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I haven't really messed around with my son's new 3DS much. It's just, I don't know. there's really nothing that interests me that Nintendo's doing right now. So, although that Fire Emblem Fates seems kind of neat. Did you see anything about this week?
Fire Emblem Fates? No, I just actually clicked on something that had it.
Yeah, it's got it's like the 2 game like Pokemon kind of thing.
Ah.
Except the story goes like differently depending on which one you play.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. They've got different they've got the different well, they got 2 pictures of the same characters that each have different looks. I'm guessing different storylines.
Yeah, so that looks kind of neat, but I've never played a Fire Emblem game.
Here's something you forgot.
What?
3DS has amiibo support.
Oh God. My kids dig it though. So
Yeah. Did you got the new amiibo or new 3DS or
yeah,
what?
they both got one for Christmas this
Okay.
past year. So
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I mean, it's not a bad system. It's got
No,
NFC.
it's not. It's just
It's probably should not be named new 3DS.
yeah, there's a lot of problems with it. A lot of half steps and a lot of, as usual, Nintendo terrified.
Yep.
You know, they don't have the courage to make the decisions they need to make to be successful.
Oh, face tracking. That's cool.
I mean, dude, it doesn't have face tracking. I'm not buying it.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, their model is grossly over exaggerated, but when you change the angle of the thing, it follows the face.
Yeah, it is important when you're trying to get that 3D to look right.
Oh, dude, they added 2 Z buttons.
Oh, yes, they did. That's right. I forgot about that. That's actually a pretty good improvement. Because that's the one thing I really wish the Vita had was if they had done dual triggers instead of the stupid back touch stuff.
Oh, yeah. I remember you complaining about that.
Yeah, that really bothers me a lot. I don't know. The Sony handhelds have been better to me, but there's also only been 2 of them. But they also have more of the stuff I want.
I liked the PSP when it came out.
Yeah, the PSP, man. Oh man, it was so great. I remember seasons of Tecmo Bowl, Contra on the go, Mega Man, and not to leave out the actual games they put out. Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII, big favorite of mine. I remember
really?
Yeah,
I
liked Crisis Core. I wish it had been a console game instead of a handheld game. It would have been a lot better. But, I mean, the game design was pretty awesome. Like the kind of seeing a lot of the beforehand story of Final Fantasy VII.
Mm-hmm.
Starts off a little weird and then it gets good.
So the Vita and the PSP were all digital, correct? Or was the PSP still had physical games?
Vita still has physical games.
Really?
Yeah, but they're not that UMD stuff anymore.
What are they?
They're just like little like chips now, like little memory cards,
Kind
basically
of like
that
the
have a game.
3DS.
Not even like that. They're kind of tiny. I mean, these things are super tiny. Yeah.
I thought there'd be like SD cards.
Yeah, it's kind of, Nintendo still has those giant cartridge things.
Oh, I see. Yeah, there are kind of like mini SD cards.
Yeah.
Okay. That's still a waste of plastic for something so small.
I think most people do digital with Vita because if you go to any store, they don't carry a lot of physical games for it.
That's why I asked, because I thought it was completely. I've never seen a Vita section.
Yeah. Well, because one, there's not even a lot of units out in circulation.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, because it's so easy to do everything digital on it.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, the handheld gaming is like that, I don't know, weird juxtaposition between I want to play games, but for some reason I'm not on a console. But every now and then you just get a real gem for the handhelds.
I usually only play it for the Pokemon series. And if I could play something that's old school that on a modern system without having to like tweak around with emulators, I'm all good.
Hmm. Well, yeah, I could see how Pokemon had more appeal to you being younger than I at the time. When those games were like big, I was all about like the JRPG revolution was on, so I was all about give me the complexity.
Yeah. Oh
Hmm.
man.
Yeah. I don't know. There's been some good times though I've had on handhelds, and it's especially great during football season for commercials.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, what do you say we wrap this thing up, man? We've been going for a ways now.
Yeah.
We had some good insights on handhelds, looking back at some sales figures.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
we talked about some Fallout 4 DLC and that KOTOR remake that can't get here soon enough. Oh, yeah. We talked about my hairstyle. So, I mean, that's a complete show, man.
Goddamn dreadlocks. I still can't believe that.
Yeah. I was a bit of a nutter. So, yeah.
Oh man.
All right, guys. Well, you know the show. You know where to find us. YouTube, iTunes, and all those other podcasting services. Just do a little search, Collective Gamescast. We've got the website, collectivegc.com. You can get you can get the podcast over there as well. You can find us on the Twitter at the Collective GC. You can find me on Twitter at the Malgadar. You can find Chris on Twitter at ChrisBCGC. And you definitely find my ass over on the Ultima servers. So, let's go. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's a good 23rd episode, I'd say, Chris.
I think so.
All right. Say goodbye to everybody in some colorful manner.
Ah, shit. Why has it got to be colorful? I'll see you guys later.
That'll do.